Well, it's like having the forethought and being able to have that information and making a decision to get yourself in debt versus having a medical emergency, getting several bills a month later and seeing that they're racking up to 16, 17,000 in some cases. That's what we're talking about. That's the
and
difference.
sometimes even more. I mean, I feel like we should at least acknowledge it's different.
I think there are exceptions to what you're talking about where people are not having the opportunity to agree. But overall, the law does not put people in jail for failing to pay a debt. And all of the complaints about the judicial system and the failure to provide process, that's a complaint about the judicial system, and it's not connected. It's not directly connected to whether it's medical debt or it's other types of debt. The complaints about the justice court system and the complaints about the failure to provide service or process, those may be worthy complaints against the judicial system, but it's not directed only at medical debt. The medical debt is not being singled out by the judicial process.
And everyone would agree that if you receive a court order, you need to appear unless, again, there's some extenuating circumstance like you can prove you're in the hospital or whatnot. Before we go to break, Peter, just to respond, I do agree with what Randall is saying, which is it seems like this is part of the judicial process here that is failing certain individuals. I think maybe I'm asking the question is should we handle the way the judicial system deals with medical debt as opposed to maybe other debts because of the fact that there is really no other industry in the world that I know of where you sign your name to something or you're unconscious and can't sign your name, and then you can get up with a $500,000 bill and you just have literally no way to pay that. In your opinion, should we handle medical debt different in the judicial process if all of these people indeed are not even getting served, and then the next thing they know, there's a warrant out for their arrest?
Yes, we should handle medical debt differently for the reasons that were touched on earlier. It is not discretionary spending. If I'm taken to the hospital unconscious, and thank goodness they render services, but I have no idea what it's going to be. Let's add surprise medical billing to that, where the bill should have been $2,000, but suddenly it's $15,000. The fact is, these are a different type of debt than the car from your example. And the other fact is, there was a recent Pew Research study that said 1 in 3 families in this country do not have any savings. 41% of families in this country do not have even $2,000 saved to pay for an emergency, such as a medical emergency. The fact of the matter is that in this country, it is very expensive to be poor. I've seen people jailed over medical debts and other debts for $200, $300, $400, $1,000. And the problem is, again, as I opened with, is when a judge issues a warrant for arrest and the debt collector asks for, and the judge agrees to set the price of getting out of jail as the amount of the judgment to be paid to the debt collector, that is wrong.